The purpose of this program is to provide basic instruction in the proper and safe operation of Landoll's 330 series semi-trailers. To obtain a complete understanding of operational and safety issues, all drivers and operators are required to thoroughly read the operator's manual. Landoll 330 series trailers utilize a traveling axle undercarriage, tilt bed, and winch to facilitate loading and unloading. Operation of the trailer in a manner other than as specified by this program and the operator's manual could result in costly damage to the trailer, personal injury, or death. Drivers are strongly encouraged to follow all industry-recommended procedures and safety practices during all phases of truck and trailer operation. Before hookup, it is important to do a complete walk-around inspection of the trailer. Look for oil leaks and hanging wires or hoses. Check the tires for proper inflation and excessive wear. Check the oil in the hubs and look for structural damage to the trailer. After coupling, check the following: hydraulic and air hose connections, air and ABS brake systems for proper operation. Check the running and signal lights along with the rear impact guard. Make sure the trailer's undercarriage is fully back in transport position. Inspect the winch and cable system to ensure safe operation. Also, make sure the landing gear are raised and secured in transport position. Operators will need to verify that all equipment necessary for securing loads are on the truck or in the trailer's toolbox. Safety is your first concern during all phases of trailer operation. Do not load any payload that will overload any component of the semi-trailer or result in an unsafe condition. To load a single 20 or 40-foot container, back the trailer within a foot or two of the container, aligning the trailer with the container. It is important that the truck and trailer are parked in a straight line on a solid, level surface. Set the truck's parking brake and release the trailer brakes prior to putting the trailer in load position. Set the trailer's front container stops at 38 feet. This will allow a 40-foot container to overhang the approach plate by 2 feet. If you are loading a single 20-foot container, there are no load stops to set, but you should allow for a 2-foot overhang. Hydraulic control levers located on the trailer's control panel are used to move the undercarriage, raise the bed, and winch control. If the trailer is equipped with an optional self-contained engine package, start and warm up the engine before engaging the hydraulic controls. If your trailer is equipped with an optional work zone warning strobe, there is an on-off switch located on the control panel. Put the strobe switch in the on position and do a walk-around of the work zone before beginning trailer operations. Remove any objects that can interfere with safe trailer operations and make sure that other individuals are well clear of the loading zone. Some trailers may also be equipped with a dual hand control system. This safety system requires the operator to have 2 hands on the controls when operating the trailer's hydraulics. This prevents injury by keeping an otherwise free hand out of harm's way. To put the trailer in load position, alternate between moving the undercarriage forward and raising the front of the trailer bed until the undercarriage is fully forward and the approach plate makes light contact with or is just above the ground. To achieve the lowest possible load angle, the undercarriage must be fully forward. With the trailer bed in load position, back the trailer until the leading edge of the approach plate slides under the container. If you are unable to slide under the container, pull the trailer forward approximately 1 foot and attach the Landoll bridle to the container. Then let out the winch cable and attach the cable hook to the center of the bridle. Reel in the winch cable just enough to remove slack and then lower the trailer bed. Lowering the bed will raise the front of the container and allow you to place a block on both sides of the container. Now raise the bed until the approach plate is about an inch off the ground. Then back the trailer until the container rests firmly on the approach plate and remove the support blocks. Now decrease the angle between the container and the trailer deck by lowering the front of the trailer until the approach plate is approximately 16 inches off the ground. Important: you are now ready to load. However, rather than pull the container onto the trailer will be pulled under the container. This will eliminate heavy scuffing and scratch marks to paved parking areas. To proceed, first release the truck brakes and then activate the winch control, cautiously pulling the trailer under the container. Alternate between pulling the container on and tilting the trailer bed to keep the angle of the trailer just slightly steeper than the container. Make sure the container is pulled snug against the front stops and the container overhangs the approach plate by 2 feet. Leave the winch cable attached to the container and reset the truck brakes. It is important that the load is centered side to side and positioned to the front of the trailer deck with the load center of gravity ahead of the trailer axles. At this point, it's time to put the loaded trailer into transport position. During this process, it is critical that you control the trailer's center of gravity. Warning: the load center of gravity must be forward of the rear axle whenever the approach plate is not in contact with the ground. Failure to do so can cause the front of the trailer to suddenly rise up and pull the tractor's rear axles off the ground, creating a very unstable and dangerous situation that could result in severe injury or death. If the container's center of gravity is not ahead of the rear axle, alternate between raising the trailer deck and moving the undercarriage towards the rear. Caution: do not allow the approach plate to leave the ground when moving the axles towards the rear, and do not let the trailer's rear axle leave the ground when raising the bed. Keep the weight of the load distributed between the approach plate and trailer wheels. Once the load's center of gravity is in front of the trailer axles, you can slowly lower the trailer deck. When the deck is fully lowered, move the undercarriage all the way to the rear. Now secure the load to the trailer. Double check to make sure all straps and fasteners are secure. Before entering the tractor cab, turn off the optional work zone warning light and shut down the self-contained hydraulic power source. Caution: do not run the truck engine above 1100 RPM when loading or unloading. Higher RPMs can cause the hydraulic oil to overheat and could damage the truck and trailer's hydraulic system. A self-contained engine package may be operated at full throttle. Before unloading, position the tractor and trailer in a straight line on a solid, level surface. Set the truck's parking brake and release the trailer brakes before exiting the cab. To unload a 40-foot container, place the winch in freewheel but leave all securing devices attached. Then activate the axle control lever and move the undercarriage forward 5 to 8 feet. To ensure that the trailer does not rock back and raise the truck's rear axles off the ground, keep the undercarriage behind the loaded trailer's center of gravity. Alternate between raising the front of the trailer and pulling the axles forward until the rear of the container makes solid contact with the ground. Now, remove all straps and securing devices. To unload, pull the trailer forward until the container slides off and is clear of the approach plate. Disconnect the winch cable and store the connector bridle. To unload a single 20-foot container positioned at the rear of the trailer, put the winch in freewheel and pull the undercarriage forward 5 to 8 feet. Then raise the trailer bed until the rear of the container makes firm contact with the ground. Now alternate between pulling the axles forward and lowering the trailer bed. Make sure the end of the container is firmly on the ground and then remove all securing devices. Unload by pulling the trailer forward until the container slides off and is clear of the approach plate. Disconnect the winch cable and store the connector bridle. If the container does not slide off the trailer as you pull forward, stop and raise the trailer bed and pull the trailer forward again. Stop when the load is well clear of the trailer. Now put the trailer into transport position by lowering the deck and moving the axles to the rear as far as they will go. When parking a trailer, make sure the undercarriage is not forward of transport position. To provide DOT-approved underride protection, the undercarriage needs to be back as far as it will go with the undercarriage fully against the stops. Drivers, you are responsible for your safety and the safety of others when operating the trailer. As you go about your job, be aware of potential problems and do your best to avoid them. Accidents happen without notice. Always think safety. The purpose of this program is to provide basic instruction in the proper and safe operation of Landoll's 345 series trailers. To obtain a complete understanding of operational and safety issues, all drivers, operators, and maintenance personnel are required to thoroughly read the operator's manual. Landoll 345 series trailers require a hydraulic power source to activate the traveling axle undercarriage and tilt bed functions. Hydraulic specifications are 2,500 psi maximum operation pressure, 17 gallons per minute operating flow, 30-gallon oil tank capacity. 1/2 inch hydraulic lines are required. A wet kit pressure relief valve is required. The trailer's pressure and return lines are located at the front of the hitch. Operation of the trailer in a manner other than as specified by this program and the operator's manual could result in costly damage to the trailer, personal injury, or death. Drivers are strongly encouraged to follow all industry-recommended procedures and safety practices during all phases of truck and trailer operation. Before hookup, it is important to do a complete walk-around inspection of the trailer. Look for oil leaks and hanging wires or hoses. Check the tires for proper inflation and excessive wear. Check the oil in the hubs and look for structural damage to the trailer and hitch. Before coupling, make sure the trailer is sitting on a solid, level surface. Model 345 trailers are equipped with an adjustable pintle hitch, and the trailer's pintle eye should be at the same level or slightly higher than the truck's hitch. Set the trailer's pintle eye to the correct height before coupling. When coupling, stop the truck just short of the trailer hitch. set the truck brakes, and connect the hydraulic, air, and electrical lines. If the trailer is equipped with an onboard hydraulic engine package, start and warm up the engine as detailed in the operator's manual. Now, using the wireless remote or the hydraulic tilt lever, raise or lower the pintle eye to the proper height for coupling. Then slowly back the truck until contact is made and the hitch is centered for proper connection. Set the truck brakes and lower the pintle eye onto the truck's hitch by hydraulically raising the trailer bed, then lock the hitch in place. When the truck and trailer are properly coupled, raise the parking stands. If the stands are still weight-bearing, hydraulically raise the trailer bed until the stands are off the ground. Pull the pins and slide the stands up to the stowed position and reinsert the keeper pins. Now fully lower the tilt bed and attach the safety chains from the trailer to the truck. After coupling, check the following: hydraulic and air hose connections, air and ABS brake systems for proper operation. Check the running and signal lights along with the rear impact guard. Make sure the trailer's undercarriage is fully back in transport position. Inspect the winch and cable system to ensure safe operation, and make sure the landing gear are raised and secured in transport position. Operators will also need to verify that the necessary straps, chains, and boomers to secure the load are on the truck or in the trailer's toolbox. Safety is your first concern during all phases of trailer operation. Do not load any payload that will overload any component of the trailer or result in an unsafe condition. It is important that the truck and trailer are parked in a straight line on a solid, level surface with the truck's parking brakes set and the trailer brakes released. Use the remote control or the axle control lever and trailer tilt lever to put an empty trailer in load position. Alternate between moving the undercarriage forward and tilting the bed up until the undercarriage is fully forward and the trailer's approach plate is firmly on the ground. Now slowly drive the load onto the trailer. Make sure the load is steering straight and does not run off the side of the trailer. Position the load center of gravity just ahead of the rear axles if possible. Do not put more weight on the pintle hitch than on the trailer's axles when loading. If the load was driven on, make sure the vehicle is in low gear and the parking brake is set before leaving the cab. Now activate the winch control and attach the winch cable to the load. Then pull the cable snug and continue to securely tie down the load. Check all chains and boomers to ensure everything is secure. Once the load is secured, place the trailer in transport position. During this process, it is critical that you control the trailer's center of gravity. If the load center of gravity is not situated in front of the trailer's rear axle, alternate between tilting the bed up and moving the undercarriage to the rear until the load center of gravity is in front of the rear axle. Keep part of the weight on the axles and part on the approach plate, and never move the axle so far to the rear that the approach plate comes off the ground. When the center of gravity of the trailer and load is in front of the rear axle, alternate between lowering the trailer bed and moving the undercarriage to the rear of the trailer. The trailer deck will lower as the undercarriage moves into the roller pockets. Warning: make sure the undercarriage is all the